Shortly after Amelia Nunez was born in December, the newborn started having seizures, as many as 15 a day. Now, knowing the medicine she was being prescribed by doctors at Children's Hospital Colorado could seriously damage her liver, Amelia's parents requested that she be treated with Charlotte's Web CBD oil by the hospital. And within days, her parents reported that not only was Amelia more alert and responsive, but her seizures had decreased dramatically. Amelia is now the youngest patient in an ongoing clinical trial to study the reactions of patients with severe epilepsy to CBD oil and identify any long-term side effects. In a statement, Children's Hospital made it clear, though, that it does not provide the artisanal marijuana parents may choose to administer to children in the study. The hospital added that we don't yet have the science to fully understand medical marijuana and how it impacts children, which is why Children's Colorado supports research to determine the safety and efficacy of medical marijuana. But here's the deal. So far, there have been numerous promising studies revealing the positive impacts of CBD or cannabidiol in treating epilepsy in children, multiple sclerosis, and even cancer. It's also been proven effective in fighting nausea, inflammation, and even depression. The cannabis-derived compound does not contain the psychoactive compounds found in THC, the part of the plant that gets you high. So it's been a major game changer in the fight for expanding access to medical marijuana. But as lawmakers attempt to push reefer madness into yet another century, despite shifting popular attitudes toward marijuana, CBD presents all the medical benefits and none of the supposed social threats. Still, as of July, only 16 states had CBD-specific laws on the books, not including the 23 states and Washington, D.C., which have legalized cannabis for recreational or medical use. And even in those 16 states, the laws are not created equally. Some, like Colorado, do an outstanding service of expanding access to families looking to make their own informed treatment decisions, while others remain incredibly narrow and limit access to a small number of patients, often only in clinical trials and only in cases of epilepsy. Now, it's important to note that on the federal level, cannabis in any form still remains a Scheduled I drug, alongside cocaine and heroin. And while CBD can be derived from industrial hemp, American farmers are still not allowed to cultivate that particular crop. Now, MintPress News reported in December about cannabis refugees, people who have left their homes in states with restrictive marijuana laws and headed to states with cannabis-friendly policies. We met with Aubrey Hill and her mom, Vicky, who had recently moved to California from Alabama in search of effective cannabis therapies. Aubrey, who is now 20, began experiencing regular, extremely painful seizures at the age of 5, and her doctors had recommended brain surgeries after standard treatments had failed. But not only did 2 of these surgeries fail to ease her seizure disorder, they also left her partially blind and led to losses of memory and cognitive functions. So like many others, Aubrey started self-medicating with cannabis. Alabama's restrictive Carley's Law allows board-certified neurologists at the University of Alabama at Birmingham to provide CBD oil to patients with debilitating or life-threatening seizures as part of a clinical study. But patients only started receiving those experimental treatments last year in April. Now, rather than navigating the new system, the Hills moved to Northern California in August, and Aubrey immediately started a CBD oil treatment regimen that's resulted in a dramatic decrease in seizure activity. Her mom told MintPress News, "I tried to do everything I could while in Alabama, but now that we were here in California, it's much better and we have a support system. You can ask questions in Alabama. They are unable to share the research." But just think, if CBD had been legal and accessible, Aubrey could have avoided years of painful seizures and ineffective treatments. While many parents and physicians have reported positive effects in CBD oil therapies, it remains to be seen what the long-term effects might be. But considering cognitive and behavioral issues, liver damage, and impediments to the body's ability to fight infection or to stop bleeding are known side effects of traditional therapies to fight seizures and epilepsy, perhaps the greatest thing that CBD oil can offer patients is hope through healing. Now, the nation's own draconian drug laws are at least partly to blame for the lack of research in this regard. The federal government has conceded that CBD and THC may have some medical value, but only as a separate single molecule. That's why the whole plant remains classed as a dangerous Schedule I drug. Even in that concession, though, it's clear that patients don't come first. Studies have shown synthesized single-molecule CBD to be less effective than whole-plant CBD. And experts believe that CBD and THC are more effective when used together. The only winner in the federal government's scheduling scheme is Big Pharma, of course, which stands to reap massive profits if single-molecule treatments like CBD can be synthesized and mass-produced. Late last year, the DEA eased some restrictions to allow for more FDA-approved clinical trials with CBD. But hopefully for patients like baby Amelia Nunez, who have found relief in CBD, this will become a trend and not an exception to the rule.